Christmas.
Yeah.
And Christmas, I don't know about you, but when I was in a corporate space, Christmas kind of became a competition to see who could get their leave in, so they actually got the break that they wanted over Christmas.
I
And
never
then,
tried to get leave in because I loved the days between Christmas and New Year's when it's so quiet in the office. And
ah,
I always really love that vibe because it's like maybe you're only there with a handful of people and it's like you get a lot of work done, but you also have this sort of, oh, we can just take an extra long lunch break
oh,
because who
I
cares?
had suspicion that I wasn't working. That was what I got because no one was actually getting back to me because everyone else was on leave. And being an administrator, you generally are asking people for things or trying to follow up and make sure everything's ready. And people would get angry at you for bothering over Christmas break. And I'm like, I'm doing my job. And so, I never really enjoyed the the association between the Christmas break and having to fight for leave, and then, well, someone has to be there in case someone wants, to contact the office, and then also being probably a junior person. I've kind of felt like I should be there, like I'm the junior administrator, therefore I should be obliged to stay, to be that person and not enjoy a break. And I think that kind of carried on into, like, I had this huge project I worked on for 10 years, and I was always the one that would go back to the office first because everyone else wanted their break. I mean, we were in India, we were in Singapore, US, Mexico, and everyone else would then have like a week holiday at wherever we were, and I would fly back to man the office. And so yeah, like
I don't know. Like it's such a double thing. Like this year, actually, I am working between Christmas and New Year's, and I'm very grateful. They're making accommodations so that I can bring my dog to work because where I live,
oh,
there is a lot of fireworks, and
mm,
she gets very, very stressed out about it. And so I get to take her into the office with me where there is a lot less fireworks.
mm,
It's a different location from where I usually work, but but that means it's on like this big location where they have like because I work for a mental health place. People don't know this, but there's like a bunch of clinics there, so there's not a lot of fireworks because it's privately owned stuff or like it's owned by
yeah,
the organization. So there's not a lot of fireworks. So I actually get to work and my dog gets to be less stressed and I'm very happy about that.
no,
So for me this year it's especially I'm really happy about this because other years I've just spent a couple of days holding my dog, trying to keep her calm because there's so much fireworks in the area where I live. Like I also live in like the Netherlands in general, Louisa, is quite weird with fireworks. And this year,
yes,
so from next year, there's going to be they're not allowing the fireworks anymore. So this
no,
year is probably going to be extra.
yeah.
Uh,
People have still got them in their garage, so we're sort of pulling them out to go, I still have fireworks.
yeah, but
And it
because
goes
this
for
is the
days
last
too.
year, I am feeling like this is probably going to be and people say, "Oh, we all get fireworks." No, until you've been in the Netherlands, you don't
Yeah,
understand what we're talking about. It's a war zone
yeah.
here
Our
for New
first
Year's. It is insane.
our first year, so when we bought a house 8 years ago, so we have a balcony which I'm looking out onto actually, and we had 360-degree fireworks for about, I would say, half an hour. And I'd never experienced it like that before, but because they didn't have the city ban, so we've got city areas where they say you can't have fireworks. That was the last year that you could have it anywhere, and it was just like, it was astonishing. But I didn't have cats then, I didn't have pets, so for
Yes,
us it was wonderful. I mean, I would have felt so sorry for pet owners had I been
honestly. And
thinking about
here,
them.
like, honestly. But anyway, we were talking about rest, not fireworks.
But now I take my leave because I'm like, I plan in advance with the clients. I take a good 2 to 3 weeks off because I I genuinely need the rest. I need the time off because my brain likes to recharge, and I get a lot of ideas when I get to rest. It's
Mm.
fun actually. I sit with a book and suddenly things sort of start coming to me, and
Well,
I'm kind
but
of
you
like, oh,
need that
that's good.
space,
Yeah.
right? Like you need to have that space. And this year, because we're at the end of the year, so we're looking back, and the things that we've learned. And one of the things was that I took a holiday in the spring, and we were planning some stuff for setting up shop. And I said during one of our team meetings, "No, I can do it that week. I have time that week because I'm on annual leave."
Yeah.
And
Oh, the
Tony was
regret.
like, "Rewind that sentence." And it's this like so I he made me not work during my holiday, which I was very comfortable with.
But you made a point for weeks before it to tell me, oh, I can't, I'm not allowed to work that week because Tony said so.
Because
And it was
Tony
like,
said so.
I love it.
But
But that's
isn't
what
it
we
but isn't
do.
it interesting, right? Like because
Yeah.
I took time off of my side gig and I thought, well, that means that I can just fill that week with work for my own business. And then I wasn't allowed to. But but I think we tend to do this as entrepreneurs where we're just not really taking time off. Because even before then, I would like, oh, I'm taking time off. And that usually meant I'll only work for like an hour or two
Yeah.
in the mornings and then take the rest of the day off. But that's not taking time off. That's not stepping away. You're still keeping it
No.
going. And even like you can a lot of people I know will like have all this extra stuff. Oh, I have to finish all of this stuff and I have to like schedule out my social media for the time that I'm taking off so that people can't see that I'm taking time off. And I'm so much better in going like, well, then there's no social media for that week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, I mean, when you're working very intensely with clients, um, their expectations and your expectations often don't align at Christmas time, because they've still got their business to run. But I found I've really been strict in saying I really am not working. Like I'm not going to be available to you, and I need them to understand that is okay because I always then said, "Oh, just send it to I'll do it." And then of course they then take leave because they haven't said that they're taking leave at the time when they were negotiating availability. And then I'm kind of like, "Well, who's going to look at this if I do it because they've said, "Can you do this?" And then I get it to them and then I get an out of office for another 5 days. It's like it's that, oh,
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
know exactly what you mean, but I think as well, like what we forget is if we communicate clearly about when we're not available, then that's fine. Um, it's often not about the availability itself. It's about let me know when you are available.
Yeah. I think it's also
And then
guilt.
take it from
It's
there.
it's that guilt as well that, well, you should be working for us because we're paying you this money. Oh, paying over Christmas can be a real sticking point when you're trying to say, I really need the leave. I should be getting paid for, and you sort of get into these areas of the gray areas of you know what's your, and I think people try to push boundaries at this time too, to to see how far they can kind of get their way. And I would allow people to push boundaries so much that I would be like in this tiny little box, and a lot around me. But now it's like, here is exactly what I need, and I will not move from it. So I
Yeah,
found I found that sort of bending because someone's trying to test whether they can bend you at this time is also really, it's stressful. Christmas is a
yeah,
stressful time for people anyway. There's a lot of emotions going around at Christmas time, and business should not add to that. You know, I there's often end of year stuff. So, you know, oh, we have to get this thing done by the end of the year. And it's like, but you knew when the end of the year was.
I mean,
This should not
you
be
knew that from
surprising
the
for
1st of
you.
January. And
You-
this is the thing as well, like that is a you problem,
yeah,
not a me problem. You didn't hire me until November. So
yeah,
but I think, like we have this idea often just because of how our society is organized that we have to do a certain amount of work and achieve a certain amount of stuff in order to be allowed to rest. And I think that's flipped it on its head. We need a certain amount of rest to be able to produce effectively.
yeah,
And if you don't take that rest and if you don't take that space, you're not going to be creative. You're not going to be able to bring the input that you are bringing. because being an entrepreneur isn't about showing up for 8 hours every day and doing a thing. Your job is to bring as much impact. There you go, there you go, there you go,
That
there
way,
you go.
yeah.
It's hard when you're flipped around. But it's like create as much impact as you can in the shortest amount possible. That's what we are here to do, and that is great. But you need to have the space. Every day you need to create space and rest, and then you have to create regular breaks, not just and also don't work every weekend, or don't work like, and I sometimes work the weekend because then I will have made plans with my friends during my weekdays. I don't
Yeah.
care if I take a day off on Wednesday or take a day off on Saturday. That is not the point, but you have to have days where you are not working,
I'm
like the
laughing
whole
because
day you're not working.
my
And
my
then
my accountant kind of wants me to work on the weekends when I haven't got my quarterly taxes done. It's like, come on, end of month, and we will do our job as long as you do yours. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But circumstances. But we don't want people to start working in January exhausted. Like
yeah,
we want you to come back, and it's that freshness, and and be ready to enjoy your business again,
yeah,
because you know things aren't going to change overnight between December and January just for a
yeah.
new year. Some people like to think it does, but you
I
know,
mean, here's hoping.
but yeah, so set yourself up for a good year by not breaking yourself and then sort of limping into the next year going, I could do better.
And with that being said, we will be back in January.